I'm interested in study abroad.
Oh.
Abroad now. So I can choose school. Japanese school or abroad school, foreign school.
Right.
Yeah.
He's talking about high school, right?
Right,
High school.
for high school, right. And so is this going to happen from which year? Next year or?
Yeah, next year.
Next year. Interesting. So you're considering either to join like a foreign school for in another country?
Yeah. なんて言ったらいいの？
大丈夫大丈夫。すごく準備できてる。
I can work remote in different. So, for example, the reason why I live in Kimbabetsu is because my work allows me to work from anywhere in the world. So even I can work outside Japan, or I don't need to be in a specific office environment to work. So that is, I think, if you consider like this is something maybe you could consider as well. Like, is it? Do you like to work in somewhere in a specific office or a specific environment? Or do you like to work in a place where you can work remotely, like anywhere from any place, basically? Yeah. So this also might help you in your decision. Yeah, I totally agree. I think in the current age we're living in, we are living in an age where we have an opportunity to have, especially after the coronavirus situation, many companies realized that remote work is possible. So, for example, I work for a company called Mercari, and Mercari they decided that any person can work anywhere in anywhere. It doesn't matter the office anymore. And before COVID situation, it was very different. Everyone was going to the office, and now it's very different. So this, I think, it's a very interesting period of time now we're living. Very interesting, right? Mm-hmm. So things changed and companies changed, and I think I feel I'm lucky, and maybe you are lucky too, because now we can have more options to work remotely in many companies. And I think the most industry, in my opinion, the most industry that accepted remote work is an industry related to technology, right? Tech. And in Japan, especially in Japan, there is so many shortage. So meaning engineers are in demand, especially software engineers. So that's why even in Mercari, we cannot always hire also only from Japan. We need to hire from people from abroad. It's also the reason why I'm here in Japan. So because there is a talent shortage, so it's a very interesting industry in my opinion. So I think it's only my advice based on my experience, but I think technology sector is very interesting these days. Software engineering or anything related to technology, basically. Mainly software engineering, I think. I personally also started programming very early in my high school, and then during university I was already starting to build some applications and publish them on the App Store and the Google Play Store. And at that time, I published applications and became very popular. So many people download the application and started using it. And then I got some opportunity to work at a company. But I think at that time it was very different, because at that time it was the iPhone came out only. The iPhone was new in 2007. Mm-hmm. So maybe 14 years ago, maybe. Mm-hmm. Same you born. So you were born and the iPhone came out. So you don't know, before iPhone there was no smartphone. So now smartphones are everywhere. So and there's so much demand for people, and the companies want to hire a lot of software engineers. So I think, in my opinion, it's a very good path to consider. for yourself. Yeah, if you mentioned because you like mathematics and maybe you tried some programming, if this is something that interests you, I highly recommend. And also it gives you also the chance to in the future to work remotely for companies. Even better, I think, in my opinion. So this is something what I did with my friends. But if you have some idea in the future, for example, you want to solve some problem, or you can build your own app, and you can start your own company even, because you have opportunities, because you only need some tools and ideas, and many people nowadays are willing to invest and invest money in companies and ideas. So even if you don't want to go through the path of working for a specific company, you can also start your own company. I actually started my company with my friend before Mercury. Before Mercury, and I started the company, and Mercury bought the company. Yeah. So that's why I joined Mercury. So this is also like, because in technology you have so many opportunities. I think it's easy to create a product because you don't need too much money. You only need a computer and some friends maybe, or even you can do it by yourself. You just need to know how to make some product. And most important is find some idea that you can solve some problem, and I think in this age we're living, there are so many problems, so you can always find one problem and solve with the idea. And anything you want to do, it's very good that you're interested to learn English. So because many of the documentation for programming languages and things like that, many conferences abroad outside Japan are mostly in English. So it's very good to also like learn English for this particular aspect. And for I think as early as you start is better. So whenever you have like time, if you feel that this is something that interests you, I recommend you can like start learning a few things, and maybe practice a little by little, maybe for these kind of things. And if you want, I can send you later some links or some resources that are very good resources to start of how to learn these kind of things. But I think it's very interesting. Sorry. So me, I am actually from Lebanon, and in Lebanon, it's not an English-speaking country. In Lebanon, the main language is Arabic. Do you know Arabic? But in school, we are taught Arabic, English, and French. So 3 languages. Yeah. Also, I know a little bit French. Yes, French a little, but English is my main language, and Arabic, of course, is my mother language, like my mother tongue language. So, Arabic I was taught in school, but in school, since maybe grade 1, I was learning English. But of course, still for me, it's a second language. So naturally, it's also hard for me to speak English actually because it's not my language. Yeah. So since grade 1 in school we learn English and continue to learn English, but maybe because in the university in Lebanon everything is in English. So and even in the school in Lebanon, the only Arabic that we learn is through the Arabic language. But other than that, like for example, if you're studying mathematics or physics or chemistry or other subjects, these are all taught in English. So maybe that's the reason why I have maybe good English, is that all the other subjects taught in school are taught in English, which is maybe it makes a difference. I think so, but what you need to do, I think, in my opinion, is to have as many conversations with people who speak English like at a native level. So need to maybe go out, have conversations, communicate. I think that makes a big difference. For example, even me, when I was living in Lebanon, I used to work in the companies in English and everything. But when I moved to Japan, I started working with the people from many different countries. So people from the US or the UK or many different native English speaking. And then communication with them every day helped me a lot, even have a better English personally. So I think you can still learn English anywhere, but the thing that will help you a lot is having communication with the people who speak English as a native language.
I see.
And I think maybe there are opportunities. Maybe there are opportunities to do that, depending, if you can find people around where you can communicate and speak. I'm willing also to help because I speak English, so maybe we can have some conversation. Yeah.
Oh, and conversation is important for
Yes.
learning English.
Yes, absolutely.
I see.
Yeah, I think so. I think if you learn only theoretical, like only you learn grammar or something, it will help you, but not so much. And this is something I heard from many people living in Japan, is that they learn English in school, but it's only to learn for specific exam or something, but you cannot really communicate or really feel that you can use their English skills. So this is something I heard from people who work in Mercari that study English in Japan. So I think the only thing that could help is just practice with people who speak English. Yeah.
I see.
Oh, actually, so Mercari does not really require a degree. So you don't need to have a computer science degree to apply for Mercari. But the only thing that you need to have is to be able to pass the technical interview. So, and the interview usually ask, how can I say, the interview questions are basically only related to practical work. So if you know what to do, if you know certain things and you have some experience, you don't need a college degree. For example, personally, I studied civil engineering. I didn't study computer science, and I learned computer engineering by myself. So, and many people in Mercari, they came from many different backgrounds, maybe sociology or maybe other backgrounds, psychology. Many people came to technology from different backgrounds. One of my friends, he was an English teacher, and one of them, he was a translator, and they learned how to program and passed the technical interview. How can you pass technical interviews? Because in technical interviews there are specific kind of expectations and questions. If you know how to answer these, you can apply basically for yeah. At the current time, I think, so at my time it was very different than the current time. At my time, things were not very clear. At that time, technology was still kind of not advanced as now. But right now, I think it's very clear for me. If I was 15 years old, I would see that this is a great opportunity to step into technology. And of course, if I was in Japan, learn English and learn also programming and go into the path of software engineering. I think now it's easier decision because the world has changed to become more rely on technology. And I think with the current situation, there's not so many engineers around the world enough. Even in Japan, there's not enough engineers. So because there is a demand, and also there is also a demand, and I think the industry is very interesting. Certainly if I was at that age right now, I would start thinking about going through that path. And I think in that sector, technology, it's very easy to start even at a very early age, because you only need a computer and the internet. That's it. And you have access to all the resources, right? So if you want to read a book about programming, there are so many information online. You have more time, so you can have like you can start with this as early as you start, it's better. So for example, even me, I think I started a little bit later in high school. Now I think if I was 15, I hope I started early because as early as you start, as more experience and knowledge you get, and you can get a head start. So you can like you can have some advantage if you start early. I think so. It's a very good time to consider these things, and especially if you would decide on some career path. If you start building it slowly from early stage, it would be so much better later. Yeah. It doesn't mean that you can like 100% set your plan at this point, because of course as you grow up, as you will discover more like what you really want. But I think it would be really helpful if you have some like guideline, and just practice some things in this age. Oh, that's a very good question. So it's very interesting, because right now I think if you want to like become a software engineer, you actually, in my opinion, the resources available online to learn are much better than any university. And even the biggest universities, they cannot keep up with the new technology. So even after you graduate from university, you still have to keep studying. So even for me right now, I still study every day almost about new skills, because it's changing every day, and I have to keep up with the new technology. Technology changed very fast, so I have to keep up. So even though I graduated, studied in university, it doesn't mean much, because you have to keep up. Now it's not a bad idea to study in university computer science. It's good. I think you get the basics and you get the foundation. And maybe if you prefer some kind of like interactions with classmates and things like that, that would be good, but it's not required. For example, in different kind of jobs, for example, there is customer, but the customer cannot wait. They need something immediately. But in software engineering is different, especially if you're doing mobile applications, like what I do. I'm software engineering for mobile app. It's also, of course, software engineering, there are so many different kinds there are. So and also in software engineering, you can also, later on, you can also become, for me, like I became a manager. So now I only work with the people, so only manage engineers. And this is also different career paths. So if you're interested in more communication and working with people, that is also something that in software engineering you can. And so this is what I like about is a flexibility, some flexible. And I think flexibility is very nice from timing flexibility and workplace flexibility. So when I decided to move to Kimbetsu, for example, I love the nature, right? And the Kimbetsu is beautiful. The mountains and the ski and in the summer, so many activities to do here. So I decided to come and work here. And because I'm gonna work remotely from here, I wanted a big place where I can have an office, nice office, and so I can separate my work from personal life. So for example, here I have upstairs, I can show you my office upstairs. So I have a very nice office. I built this office only just a few months ago. When I moved here, I wanted to make a very nice office. Because I know I'm gonna work from here for a long time, fully remote. So I think, I made an office with ergonomics, so like a comfortable chair, comfortable desk, and comfortable working area. And because I work remote, and my kind of job right now is my title is engineering manager. So engineering manager means like I need to work with the software engineers, and because I don't do coding anymore, my job is mostly to coordinate and work with another engineers to try to come up with some product increments every 2 weeks. And my day is mostly meetings. So I have many meetings in a day, and mostly one-on-one meetings. So that is meetings with the software engineers, and I talk with them one-on-one. And because I work remotely, I wanted to make an office that have a very good setup, so people can see me and hear me very well. So I have a good microphone and a good light, so that I can look good, for the people remotely. Because I work remotely, when COVID started, many people, they were like, oh, maybe this is gonna be 1 or 2 months and then everything will come back to normal. But now I know this is full time and for a long time. So I want to make sure that people who are working with me can see me in a professional way.
Oh.
So good light and good sound is very important for meetings. Ergonomics is very important as well. So for example, because I work for many hours in a day, it's very important to take care of your health. So for example, if you stay sitting for 8 hours, it's not good for health. Yeah. So you have to stand up and change. So that's why I have upstairs a standing desk.
Oh.
So I can work standing or sit on a chair. So that is very important as well. And also, I think for me, because I used to live in Tokyo, and when I used to live in Tokyo, my apartment size was 19 square meters. So only maybe smaller than this room, my whole apartment. So
you have to pay a lot, sure?
And pay a lot because I was living in Azabujuban.
Yes.
Very expensive. So at that time, my office was very smaller office, but also not very flexible because my office was near my bed. So I wake up and then I'm immediately in the office. Not much separation, but for me it's very important to separate work from life and personal life. For me, one of my motivations of moving here as well is that I can get a big house and make a good room. Yeah. So I talked too much about my office, but I want to show you. But yeah. This is where I spend 8 hours every day.
Yeah.
That is right?
Yeah, so this is light. When I have a meeting that I need to look good, I can turn on the lights.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And the desk can up down.
Oh yeah, it can go down. So this is actually electric, so it can go on a sitting mode. Yeah. So this office, I'm really. It's for example, when I come to work here, I'm very happy. Everything very comfortable. Very.
What is this?
Oh, this is a wireless charger for the mouse. So this is a wireless mouse, and then it charges the mouse. And also in my free time, I play piano here. I play the piano, and downstairs, I think you already saw, I have some big TV. I watch some Netflix or something. Yeah. I think the main important thing is not only study, but also study and try to build some project. Even if it's a small project, if you build some project, you may be able to show your work to companies or other people, and then that would be really good. Maybe you would able to publish it on the store. So what I did when I started actually learning how to program, I built an app in my country, and then that app became very popular, very famous. It became the #1 app on the store, top download. And then I became famous after that, and companies wanted to hire me because I built that project. So I really advise you, if you after learning, if you can build some project, even if it's a small project.
Any project,
even a small idea, any kind of thing is really important. And in my case, after I built this project, that app became very popular and famous. I didn't expect that. Sometimes you work on something, maybe it's very small, you think it's very small, but it would be very important and very huge. So, and that project actually became, as I mentioned, very famous, and even companies like Apple wanted to work with me on, because I built that project. So there's a conference about developers every year in San Francisco. They do it, and at that time Apple asked me if I want asked me to be featured in that conference. So, and they came to Lebanon and filmed with me, and then I went to San Francisco, and I was part of that conference. And looking back, it's only because I built that project when I was learning, and that I think is a very important thing. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't get that opportunities, I think. Like, for example, I can change the color of the lights as well. So like this, I can make white or yellow. I can change it blue, for example. Blue or blue. Everything I can control from like purple or green or yellow or red.
Happy time.
Thank you so much. Same here. I'm very happy. Oh, no problem.